All right, here's the instructional video for today. If you guys have read the slide number 2, you've seen that we are not doing the Unit 4 learning target today, which I apologize, I tricked you. We had planned to do it today, but I figured that it'd probably be a good idea to take a day to prepare for it, because we went over a lot in this unit. Talked a lot about the different threats and such that are online and how to be safe and smart online. So I thought it'd be beneficial to take a day, prepare, and I have some tips for how to help you prepare so that way next class you'll be able to come and just knock it out of the park, and it'll be a chill, easy learning target. So hopefully you guys forgive me for making you wait a whole nother day to do our learning target. Okay, so what I want to share with you is something that I think will be very beneficial, help you prepare in a really, really good way, both for this learning target and any other test that you take in the future. So it was a few years ago, I want to say it was in 2010, that these people did a study to find out what is the best way to remember something. And they tested it where if you, they went over information and then they quizzed their knowledge 2 weeks later. And 2 weeks is a pretty long time to forget something. I mean, if you think about it, can you remember what we learned 2 weeks ago? It might be hard. I have a hard time remembering what I did 2 weeks ago. So this is awesome, right? What's the best way to remember something after 2 weeks of time? And they found some methods, some ways to increase your retention for what you learned. Now here's what they found. They said that you remember 10% of what you read. Only 10%. So if you're reading something after 2 weeks, you only remember a tenth, right? That's not that much, but we read a ton. I'm not saying reading's bad, but for a lot of times that's like the main way that people study, is they'll read their notes. I don't know if that's the best. Excuse me. Now you remember 20% of what you hear, so that's a little bit better. So if you hear something said, so like if you listened to your teacher is explaining something, or listen to like a podcast or the news, after 2 weeks you remember 20%. It's a little bit better. You remember 30% of what you see, so that's okay, that's not bad. So if you see something, see like examples or visuals, you remember 30% of it, that's decent. Now this is where it starts to get good. So you remember 50% of what you see and hear. So think of videos. As you see something happening in a video and hear it explained, you can remember 50% of that after 2 weeks. That's pretty awesome. Now you remember 70% of what you discuss with others. This is why I try to have you guys do discussions at the end of our lessons, because if you can talk about it and share ideas back and forth, 70% is a lot. That's some good retention there. And then 80% of what you personally experience, so as you go out and do something that you learned in class, if you went out and actually moved your router like I challenged you guys to do, moved it to a new spot, after 2 weeks, you'll remember pretty much every step of how to move your router to a new spot, because you've done it, right? So experiencing something is an awesome way to learn, awesome way to retain information. And then the kicker, 95% of what you teach other people, you will remember after 2 weeks. That's crazy. That is almost 100%. So 95%, you can go and teach someone whatever you learned in class, whatever you talked about. If you then go and repeat it back to somebody else and explain it to them and help them understand it, oh man, you got it. You got it made. You will remember that, and you will do awesome when it comes time for a test or a quiz, or when it comes time to repeat that information down the road. It's a great way to learn, or a great way to remember something, I guess we should say. So my suggestion for you to do today to help you prepare for the learning target is, I think the best way is to teach someone. Go and teach somebody what you've learned in this last unit of class. So to help you prepare for the Unit 4 learning target, you can use this study guide that I've placed here, which I'll open up here in just a second so you can see it. You can use that study guide to help teach someone else about staying safe online. And as you can see, this is not a graded assignment. This is just for you to help you study. Okay, so today is a day for you. Use it to your benefit. You can only help yourself. Make sure you're not hurting yourself with today's time, and make sure you're not wasting it. Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like. So if you click on this link, it's going to take you to the Unit 4 study guide, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections. And these sections ask you 3 different questions, or I guess kind of challenge you to do 3 different things in order to teach somebody. So you could describe to somebody else, maybe a friend, a family member, a parent, a younger sibling, who knows, someone from class if you want to connect with somebody. So describe to them what a scam email is. Explain to them what it is. And then you can explain when or where can that happen. You know, where do those things take place? Where would you need to be careful when it comes to scam emails? And then what can you do to defend against them? Probably the best information of all. How do you stop these threats? How do you defend against them and keep them from happening? Okay, so you can go through and, you know, you can pick whatever you want from here, this list of things to kind of teach to somebody else. And if you get to one, maybe you get to Online Predator, or maybe phishing email is actually a better example. What if you're like, oh crap, what's the difference between a phishing email and a scam email? It's a good question because they're very similar. You can go between the days 25 and day 30. Click on the slides on Canvas, which I will show you what that looks like real fast. So if you click on the slides here, if you go to Pages, that'll take you to the slides from class, and you can find the slides from day 25, for example. If you click on that, I'll show you that here. Click on the link, and then you can see the information where we talked about scam emails and phishing emails. And that can hopefully help you kind of remember, oh yeah, this is the difference between the two. Okay? So between the study guide, let me go back to that. Between the study guide and between the slides from class, I think you guys should be golden. You guys should be ready for the test next time, or the learning target that is, in next class. And if you've been following along in class throughout day 25 to day 30, you're gonna do incredible. So please don't beat yourselves up over this. I wouldn't take more than like 30 minutes because, I mean, you're gonna get mentally burned out if you're going for too long. So take breaks. Don't kill yourself trying to study like crazy. Just freshen up on what you need, perhaps, and I think you guys are gonna do incredible. So that's all for today. Email me if you have questions. I'm available between the hours of 11 and 12. If you email me then, I will be vigilant, watching my emails as they come through, and I will respond as fast as possible to take care of whatever question or needs you may have. Okay, you guys have a good one.